you cannot be a best engineer unless or otherwise you are a good mechanic, right? So you need to be a mechanic and dirty your hands for some time, and then you will become a best engineer.
Welcome to Rendezvous with our very own Dr. Sathya Saminadan, who is currently Assistant Professor, Marketing at IFMR Graduate School of Business, Korea University. He will help us in understanding the nitty-gritties of MBA in Marketing today. Dr. Sathya, after completing MBA from IFMR, has 19 rich years of work experience, of which 10 years he was in the industry and 9 years in academia. He has had a vibrant career growth. Dr. Sathya completed his PhD in digital marketing from the University SCS VMV Kanchipuram. He was awarded as the best teacher for the year 2016 by International Business Conference Committee Goa for the contribution towards teaching and research in the area of marketing. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Anshul. Looking forward for the discussion.
Wonderful. So I'll start off with my first question for the day, sir. What are the important elements of MBA in marketing that a student must know about?
Okay, so to answer this, I would say that marketing itself is an important element in an industry. Okay, so marketing. Why do I say this? Because marketing is the very important, department in the company. For example, if you are going to work in an industry or in a company, you will have several departments, right? And every department is actually a part of a cost center. But the only department which is going to bring in money is the marketing department. So I would generally call, in my classes, I generally call that marketing is the heart of a company, right? You being a CEO or a chairman or a board member or an entrepreneur, you wish that your marketing department does well in the company so that, it will bring in oxygen to the company. So I should say, if you ask me which is the most important element in marketing, I would say overall the marketing itself is very important. So the students should be aware that when they are going to join, especially the marketing specialized students, if they join a company under the marketing domain, they should be aware that they are actually working for a very powerful domain of a company, right? That because marketers are very powerful. You are in the industry, that, been in the industry for some time. So you know that marketers are the most powerful guys in the industry. So you should know that, you should be proud of it. So when you get into a company as a marketer, you should be aware that you are in a place where you are going to become the contributor to the company in an immense manner.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So that brings me to my second question, sir. Are there any misconceptions associated with MBA in marketing that incoming students come with? And how can you help aspirants understand the difference between sales and marketing?
Okay, so there are two misconceptions if you are going to ask me that way. The first misconception is most of the students whom I meet in the colleges, wherever I teach, is that when I go to a marketing class, they all ask me, the first question is marketing and sales are one and the same, right? And they all think that since we call most of the sales jobs as marketing jobs, the confusion is there in the market, I think. So sales is not marketing. In the sense, it is not, marketing is not about sales only, right? Sales is a part of marketing. If marketing is going to be, if the company is a bird which has many wings, sales is one of the feather in the wing. Okay, probably I should say that the noble feather, because sales is the most important thing. But at the same time, sales is not the only domain in marketing. Marketing has got a lot of domains, starting from branding to advertising to digital marketing to IMC to many things. Sales is one among them. That is the first misconception. The second misconception most of the students has is that, whenever I go to a marketing class for the first time, I ask them generally during my introductory sessions and all that, what do you want to become after completing your MBA, right? So the most of the times the marketing students, the students who are specializing in marketing, generally the specialization comes in the second part of the MBA, right? So when they come there, when I ask them, they say that I would like to become a brand manager. Many of them say this. Many of them say that I want to become an advertising manager. Many of them say that I want to become a consultant. Okay. Some of them say that I want to become a digital marketer. So I ask them back, put yourself as an entrepreneur, put yourself as a CEO of a company. Would you be, in case if your company requires consulting, would you be giving the opportunity to one refined consultant or to a rookie like you? Then the answer would be no, I would go for a refined, experienced consultant. So same way you have to think from others' point of view. The company, when they are going to take you in, they may not be able to give you a brand management or brand manager position or a consultant position immediately after you join. Probably you need to work in sales for some time. The reason why I'm quoting sales is here because I generally quote this phrase, you cannot be a best engineer unless or otherwise you are a good mechanic, right? So you need to be a mechanic and dirty your hands for some time, and then you will become a best engineer. So similarly, if you want to become brand manager, if you want to become a marketing communication guy, or if you want to be a consultant to a company, you need to understand the pulse of the customer. How would you understand the pulse of a customer? Only if you be with them, only if you're one among them, only if you interact with them. Sales is the best way, modus operandi, I would say, is the best manner with which you will be able to understand the consumer's pattern, consumer's buying pattern or thinking pattern and all that. That's why if you want to be this is for the students. I would say if you want to be in marketing, you just do a data analytics by yourself. Take all the CEOs and CMOs who come from marketing background and check what is their history. They would have all definitely should definitely be working for some of the in the previous places. They should have been working in a sales department somewhere or the other. And it's an invincible job, I'll tell you. Sales doesn't get over once you become a branch manager or an AVP from the sales manager. Sales would be there, but with the different levels. Even if you become a CEO, you might be doing sales with a different personality. That's the only difference it's going to be happening. But then I should say that sales is a thankless job. We all know that. But then it is not something to which we should get intimidated. Sales is something we should love and passion. Then only the marketing techniques can be easier to you. That's what I would say.
Very nice. And I'll just add one quote to this, that sales is not about selling anymore, but about adding trust, building trust, and educating the client.
Excellent. Very nice. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Wonderful. So that brings me to my next question to Professor Sathya, please. So how is marketing changing with technology these days?
Okay. So there are three things which we need to notice in case if you're talking about technology. The first one, we all know, it is the connectivity. Okay, every one of us are connected. A data recently I read in an article says that almost 51% of people above 15, okay, in the entire world are accessing internet. So that's a very big number if at all if the data is going to be true, right? It's a very big number. So the connectivity. Next one, which I would say is the hands-on equipment. Connectivity is something different. 10 years back, we used to have the connectivities in the browsing centers. Today, the connection has come into our hand only, which means the browsing center, many people can come in, walk in and look at a computer. But now we all have an equipment with us, with which the internet is something which is a regular part of our life has become, right? And the third part is the video streaming. Sudden, erosion in the video streaming has come up, right? Not only with YouTube, but also with the Facebook and also many other platforms like Instagram or, the recently banned one TikToks or whatever. So the likability towards the video streaming has gone up so much among the consumers. So what does it actually tell? Say, if you're going to talk about technology, I'm not going to talk about the product's technology. I'm not talking about the evolvement of the product, right? I'm talking about the technology in marketing. So what's the difference? For example, if you're going to talk about the technology in a product development, which I would say is trivial now for the discussion, because technology in product is inevitable, which happens even if there is no development among the buying pattern of the consumer. 40 years before, we used to have a black and white television at home. 20 years before, we had a television, color television. And 10 years back, LEDs and LCDs got introduced and all that. So there is a product development which is inevitable. But then now, in the last 5 to 8 years, the technology in terms of marketing has come up. So what is it? So since we are reaching every customer directly to them, the efficiency has gone up so high. I'll tell you what is an efficiency. For example, if I'm going to put a board in the Dadabhai Nauroji road of Mumbai, or if I'm going to put a hoarding on MG road of Bangalore, or on the Mount Road of Chennai, right? Lakhs of people can see that hoarding. But what is the efficiency which I am actually incurring out of it? How many people see the board are my customers, are my target customers? if I'm going to put across an advertisement among the, or in between the overs of the IPL match, billions of people would watch, but how many of them are going to be my customer? So there is no answer to it. Maybe 40%, 50%, 60%, but then the rest 40% is inefficient, right? That is why the new technology, the digital marketing, with the help of the artificial intelligence, if you're really going to be good at this RTB, real-time bidding, and search engine optimizations, and the digital marketing keywords analytics and stuff, then you are going to do wonders in the market, because the efficiency goes up. It is not that how many people I'm targeting. It's not about quantity. It's about the quality. If I am targeting even 50% of the customers, from my target audience, how many of them are going to be interested in buying pattern of the product? That is what we are going to look at now. So I would say that the technology has come in marketing in a different way, and this is going to be there forever. So in a way, I would say that this is given an opportunity for every marketer to do a behavioral targeting type of marketing. So that is going to be the everlasting one in the current scenario.
Very nice, very nice. So what I understood is that days of spray and pray are over now. Spray and
Yes,
pray are over now.
it's over.
Right.
It's over, because you have to target the right person. If the person is not interested in your advertisements, you see what's happening in YouTube. The first 5 seconds of advertisement which you make is completely free. Nobody is making money. But if he's interested, he'll watch further. Otherwise, he'll just skip.
It is.
The first 5 seconds, how am I going to make the customer to sit on my ad, is the deciding factor. That is the bottom line. So if you're going to work on that, then the efficiency goes up so well in the marketing.
Right, right. So this brings me to my next follow-up question, sir. Since we were discussing about digital marketing and YouTube, should an aspirant go for an MBA these days, or a course of digital marketing would be fine for him? What are your ideas and recommendations on this?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because it has been asked many places. Many students also ask me, many aspirants ask me. The thing is, it is like comparing chalk and cheese, right? Because MBA is not only about digital marketing. MBA is something beyond that. You are going to have an overall picture of the industry operations through a course, and that's called as MBA, right? Whereas digital marketing is one niche area of the MBA, of a wider, larger sphere. So I would say that it depends on an individual. If you are going to be a rookie, in the sense if you are going to be a fresher who's coming out of the UG, or you don't have a work experience and you want to get into an industry in a good profile, then MBA has become like an hygiene factor today. Like every industry, every company in any industry, let it be software, let it be manufacturing, everybody is asking the candidates to have an MBA. The reason is, if you're going to work for the company for 3 years and 4 years, later you are going to claim for a promotion. When you sit for opposite to your HR manager, the human resource manager would have some kind of screening pattern. So the first screening is the qualification. So you are required to have a good qualification in the current market. So if you're going to be a fresher, I would say on any day that you should go for an MBA. But in case if you already have some experience, I've been working in the industry for 10 years, I'm already an associate general manager, and I want to have something more, I need to adapt to the current situation and grow the ladder. If that is going to be a requirement, then I would suggest you to go for a digital marketing, provided that's going to help you in your career, right? If you want to get into some kind of a niche operations, then the digital marketing is going to be certainly going to be helpful. But then again, in digital marketing, again, it's a very vast area. You need to understand the nuances of digital marketing before you persuade anything. For example, in digital marketing, you can be a content writer, you can be a SEO specialist, you can be a website designer, you can be a coding expert. You have several areas under digital marketing. So you need to know which area you are best, and you should proceed there. But for an youngster, I would say in the current situation, the industry demands an MBA than a very specialized course in digital marketing.
Nice, very helpful advice. Very helpful advice. Thank you. So I'll come down to my next question, please. So, what are the critical electives that a student pursuing MBA in marketing must opt for?
Okay. Again, it depends on the student's interest. If you're not going to be afraid of numbers, okay, then I would say if you're going to be a quant guy, then you should actually go for data analytics. That's the hot selling cake today, right? Data analytics is a very important thing, which has become a recent requirement in the industry. And if you're going to be really strong in quant, you can go for market research probably, and opt for market research. You should opt for consumer analytics, and you can also opt for pricing strategy. All these subjects would be very interesting for the people who are not scared of numbers, right? Sometimes what happens is some of them, uh, or scared of numbers, and they're very creative. So if you're going to be a very creative guy, then I would suggest you to go for brand management, advertising, and something like services marketing, and also something like marketing communication. Okay, IMC. Okay, these electives will be very important for you if you're a creative guy. And if you are going to be, if you want to be relevant to the industry, then certainly you should go for digital marketing and artificial intelligence, marketing in artificial intelligence, or whatever the subject they call. But again, I'm insisting sales and distribution is very important. Unfortunately, many of the students, as far as I know, they think that if I go for sales distribution, I'll be getting placed only as a sales guy in marketing. And they also think that sales is something which can be self-learned. Okay, you don't require a guru to teach me how to do it. But then it's not like that. There are several sales techniques which you need to understand. So I would say sales and distribution should always be there as a part of your marketing kitty. The others you can pick and choose based on the strengths and interest of yours.
Right. So student has to be self-aware also to choose the electives while
Definitely, they should definitely be doing a little bit of analysis before they sit for the checklist of their electives. That is very important.
very nice, very nice. So my next question to you, sir, is what according to you is a must-read book for students pursuing MBA in marketing?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. I should say, I don't know if you are going to ask me some few books. It's very difficult for me to pick and choose, but the most inspired ones I am going to quote here. There is a book named Biology. Okay, BUI. It's not bio. It's biology, and it is basically written by an author named Martin. It's a wonderful book, and our own Mr. Shiv Kera's book You Can Win. It's a very good book, I should say. And there is an author named Miss Olivia. She has written a very good book named, Social Media ROI. Okay, it's a very good book. Again, all these books are very inspiring, and it won't be like a textbook. It would be like a storybook, right? It would be like a fiction. But then you will also, at the end of it, you would learn a lot of stuffs. And Mr. Ram Charan, I shouldn't be forgetting here. Mr. Ram Charan's book, What a CEO Wants to Know. It's an amazing book. It has given a lot of insights for me, I should say, as a person. So these four books I can recommend on any day because I've read it several times. So I love these books.
Very nice, very nice. Since you mentioned storytelling here, how important is storytelling for a marketing professional?
It is very important for a marketing professional because you have to be very creative, right? So when you are going to talk about this storytelling thing, I remember my first boss, when I joined the industry long back. He used to say that a marketer should speak for 70. If I'm going to speak for, imagine the entire 1 hour of conversation is going to be converted as percentage. If I'm going to speak for 100%, the first 70% should be talking, should be completely irrelevant to the product and the company, right? You should have topics to talk, right? So what we used to do is we used to follow astrology, we used to follow numerology as a salesperson. You need to, we will follow sports, we would follow politics. Suddenly they may talk about this education policy 2020, right? So suddenly somebody will talk about EIA. So we need to know to talk these subjects, otherwise it will be very difficult, right? So as a marketer, storytelling is very important. But for storytelling, you need to have the knowledge to talk. In the sense, you cannot talk the same topic to many people. So I should say that the variety of topics are very important for you to sustain as a successful marketer. So everyday newspaper reading and certain books will help you to do all that. Beyond all this, you need to have the passion and conviction. That's very important.
Wonderful. And I could practically relate to what you just said. Very nice.
Okay. Okay.
So that brings me to my next question, please. How can a student make the most of their marketing internships?
Okay, it is a very interesting question because when you are getting an internship, the students actually, there is again a misconception here. Students think that we are doing a favor to the company. Actually, we should be very much aware that you or the institution of yours are not doing any favor to the industry or the company. Okay, it is the company which is doing favor to you, whether they are paying stipend or not. That's a different question altogether. If they are not paying stipend, that is most of the time happens. So if they are not going to pay stipend, they are not going to care about you at all. You are, even if you go to the office by 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, nobody is going to question you. And that doesn't mean that they don't know about it. Okay? They know, but they are too busy to ask about it. Okay. So as a student, what should I be doing? I should be taking initiatives. That's the most important thing. What kind of an initiative? There are two ways of initiative. First thing, if the company is not giving you the job, you should go and ask the company people to give you some job, right? Sometimes what happens is they will give some irrelevant jobs, or the jobs which is totally not up to your level, right? For example, they may ask you to do some kind of data typing. They may ask you to do some kind of teleselling. You may feel that you are little higher to that. You can do things better than what they are actually asking you to do. So what you should do, you should actually do a little bit of networking there. You should talk to your boss. You should talk to the colleagues. You should talk to the senior people, and tell them that you are much more capable than what you are being extracted. And you should tell them that if an opportunity being given to you, you would excel in it, right? You will give your best. But then what happens here is the company might not be able to share some confidential data with you. So don't worry about all that. So what you have to do is you have to tell them in the framework of whatever given limit the company can share information to you, and then you give the best. So you should be aware that everybody sitting around you inside the internship campus are all much more learned than you, much more aware of things than you, because they are masters. That's why they are all team leaders, they are managers, they are vice presidents, and so on. So what do they expect from you is not a regular work. They expect from you is some kind of out of box thinking. There's some fresh brains to come in, give some advices to them, which may be helpful to them, because they may not be able to think in those lines as they are pretend to think in the same lines for very long, so many years. So as a student, I would say that you can tell them that here and there the suggestions can be given within the given frame line, given the given limits. You can tell them, and tell them that you give me more assignment to me so that I'll be able to do. So when you do that, I have seen a lot of students doing this in the company, and they have exhibited really well in front of their bosses, and that is the real roadmap for an PPO. So if you want to get a PPO, that is an ultimatum for an internship. If you really like the company, if you want to join the same company later, you should impress them. And the only way to impress them is to by taking initiative. If you take initiative, the companies would certainly don't say no to it, because they all wanted people who takes initiative.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'll just submit one point here, that if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Yes,
so you have to go ahead and ask.
Very true. Very true.
Right. So my next question to you, sir, is what are the career options a student can opt for post as MBA in marketing?
Okay, so again, I should say that the current era students are very lucky, because marketing, as though I was slightly contradicting to my earlier version, marketing, now the marketing is not constrained only to selling. Okay, 20 years before, if you do an MBA, the first option is selling. Okay, then only you can move above in the ladder to do other things. But now there are companies which are ready to take in the new set of people, the sense the fresh brains, to different divisions of marketing also. For example, communication plays a major role. You want content writers for everything. Okay, you need to manage a blog, you need to manage a Twitter page, you need to manage a website, and you need to create hashtag strategy. For all that, you need a content writer. So marketing communication plays a major role in the recent era, I would say. And many people think that pricing is actually a part of finance. Okay, it is not a part of marketing. But then in the current marketing setup, most of the companies are asking the marketing managers to do pricing. In fact, if you go to the job portals like Naukri.com or Monster, other sites, and see, there are a lot of availability for pricing managers. Okay, so for that is a newly developed area, I would say, in marketing. And of course, digital marketing, artificial intelligence, all that are known to people now. There is something called as affiliate marketing, right? That is again a new set of things. Marketing is, as I said earlier when we were discussing about sales, marketing is not about talking about the product only. Marketing is something beyond that. If you go to the Facebook page of Subway, okay, the burger company, Subway, or some other pages, you can see that their posts are not always relevant to the product selling. They take some kind of fun polling or some kind of, there is going to be a weekend, some celebration posts are also made. So there is an affiliation behind all this. So the affiliate marketers are the recent trend in the market. So these are all the career options a marketer can look forward. But then again, I'm telling you, by telling all this, I am not deviating myself from the basic. So if you want to be all this, if you want to be a part of the periphery of an organization, you should be a part of the core functionality. The core functionality is certainly sales, branding, and advertising. So these three things you should definitely be involved in. So whichever opportunity crops in your institution during your placements, you should take a wise decision, I would say.
Very nice. Okay. Okay. All right. So, sir, I would also like to ask you what kind of certification programs help MBA, especially the marketing students. Can you also recommend any particular certification program?
Generally, I say to my students that until you complete your MBA, don't go for any certification, because MBA is not a time-whiling program. It is a very intense program. So you need a lot of time to do MBA. You have to take the projects and assignments given by the faculty members into a serious consideration, because those grades are going to be with you forever, right? So the CGP which you are going to carry out from your MBA college is going to be a decider when you, not only for an immediate job, but if you want to become a vice president or senior vice president at the later part of your life, right? So those CGP actually can hurt you any point of time in your life. So it's a very important thing. So don't take a risk on that. There are some good institutions like Udemy or Coursera or Takshila companies are giving a very good certification program on marketing, and also the Google certifications mostly are free, are good at it. But I would say if you are doing an MBA or if you are going to be an aspirant of MBA, don't deviate yourself from doing all this. Once you complete your MBA, get into a company inside a domain. Once you know this is going to be the domain, and here is the place I'm going to achieve myself or persist myself for a longer time, then you should go for a certification program in a niche area. But right now, it is too general for you to do that. That's what I would say.
All right. So can I understand it like that, that if you have to continue your learning in a particular niche, then certifications are important?
Important, yes, yes. But until if you're doing an MBA, don't divert yourself, don't deviate yourself. Because many students may think, my students also do that in my college. They think that if I'm going to do some couple of certification, the companies will get attracted by it and I can get placed easily. But no, it won't be like that, because what happens is by doing it, the focus on MBA would come down automatically, because you should have to spend substantial time for doing the certification, right? You have to run the videos, you have to sit on the video for so many times, you have to click yes and no for many questions they ask during the training. So you need to spend a lot of time. When you spend a lot of time, obviously the time you spend for your core functionality comes down. So that's why I used to say don't do that until you complete an MBA. Have the focus on the MBA only.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
So my next question to you, Professor Sathya, is about the curriculum and the structure. And one, it is relevant because of the pandemic we are going right now. And second, with the new education policy which has come yesterday, it becomes even more relevant now. So my next question to you is, will there be any foreseeable changes in the curriculum structure or any other new electives introduced as an after effect of the pandemic, and also due to the new education policy which has just come in?
Okay. So I'm going to comment on before I comment on the questions. I would like to tell you that generally in marketing, there is a phrase we use. You cannot live on your laurels, right? So something like marketing is, you should expect for a change. If the change is not happening, then you're doing something wrong. That is what we always tell the the class when we are talking about marketing. For example, when I used to work in the banking industry a long time back, what happens is we used to sell a product and we would think that this product is going to be the breadwinner for the company and make the company as a market leader down the line. One sudden day, the CEO or the CMO will appear on the video conferencing and tell that from tonight onwards, this product is completely banned. And we are going to introduce a new product tomorrow. It will be a shock of your life when you hear that word, because you must be thinking that there are several customers who can be considered for the product. So that will happen in marketing, and which is inevitable, right? So I would say that this COVID situation or crisis is something which actually would have happened even if the COVID is not happening. For example, look at the way how the market has changed. Look at the product cycle now. in the history, the product cycle was 10 years. A company like Bajaj can produce Chetak, and we rest assured that this product is going to take care of the revenue for the next 10 years. Okay, a Kodak camera can be producing a camera or a film roll and can think that next 10 years I'm taking care of, right? But over the years, thanks to the globalization, thanks to the technological changes, thanks to the regulatory policies in many countries, and also thanks to the banking companies, which gives a lot of business banking loans, lot of companies and new industries have evolved. So due to this, the product life cycle itself has come down so to a very crooked one. Now we have a product life cycle of less than a year in certain products and services. I cannot, by the time I get up from my sleep, my product's life is over as a production manager, right? So I need to think of a new version, right? So this is the market now. So this is going to be the, when I'm going to have this inconsistency in my marketing, or the evolution is going to take at a faster pace like this, what am I expected to do is I am expected to be adaptive to any situation. So when I'm going to be adaptive, there is something called adaptability. And when I'm going to follow the adaptability, there is also something which we also have to consider when I'm doing a curriculum for this type of industry. So curriculum is something, not something, something which is away from the industry. Okay, curriculum is not an alien. Curriculum is a shadow of the industry, or probably the reflection of the industry. Whatever the industry is asking from the curriculum or from the institution or the colleges is what the curriculum will have, right? So look at what Swiggy is doing now. Swiggy is now transporting the groceries during the lockdown. Ola is doing a parcel service now. There is a big brand in southern part of India. People in Tamil Nadu definitely knows about Pothys. It's a clothing company. Pothys has given recently put across an advertisement on television that you can pick and choose your saree through your mobile phone. In the sense, once you call a number, they will put a video, and in the video they will show the entire saree collection on inside the shop, and you can pick and choose the designs and colors, and then it will be transported to your transferred to your house. Somebody will coming and handing over the saree to you at your house. So this is what so there is a lot of evolvement due to this this COVID situation. A lot of changes. So when such changes happens, automatically the curriculum should also reflect the changes. So now, as an institution or an education institution, especially when you're offering an MBA program, you should see to that the curriculum is changed based on the requirement of the industry. So how it can be done? It cannot be done without the industrial interface. So you need to collaborate a lot of stuff with the industry experts. In fact, I was mentioning to you earlier, if at all, if I want to play, if I want to take a class online, and if I want to show some real-time data, or if I want somebody from the industry to come and address the concept which I'm teaching in the class, to have the correlation between the students, between the concept and the academia and the industry, I would bring in somebody for 15 minutes and ask him to give a small talk about it and go, right? That is possible in the current era. So these things have to be inculcated, I would say, as a part of curriculum. And I'm sure many B schools, at least as far as I know, the school which I'm working for, IFMR, Graduate School of Business at Korea University, we regularly do, intense discussion on how to improvise the curriculum based on the current market. So right now, the current curriculum change is based on the COVID crisis. So we are doing it, and we are expecting all other people to do as well. And coming to the Education Policy 2020, they have introduced a lot of new approaches. In the sense, they are encouraging this e-learning stuff, which is again I should say that it's a welcome move, because now that people have understood that taking a class online is not something which nobody can do, right? It is not. I mean, talking on the web call is not only for the NASA scientists. It is for all common man. So now that since we are all getting accustomed to the new normal, I think that will become a normal in the coming years, and that is why it is getting reflected on the Education Policy 2020. So I really welcome that one.
Very wisely explained, sir. Very wisely explained. Thank you so much. So with that, I'll request Professor Sathya for a message to all the students of marketing. So I'll request a message from Professor Sathya for all the students of marketing, aspirants of marketing. If you can give a message to all the students and aspirants, please.
Okay, so the message in the sense, I always say this to all my students that please, if you're going to take marketing as your specialization, uh, your ultimatum is not placements. Your ultimatum is the passion. So follow your passion. The CTC will automatically come, catch up with you. Okay. So imagine there is a company which is offering some 12 lakh CTC, but not offering the one which you want in the sense that is the work, and the other company which is offering only half of it, but then they are offering the work which you like at the most. You go for the one which you like rather taking the CTC, because at some point of time you will catch up with the CTC. So the MBA, as I said earlier, you shouldn't be looking at MBA as a glorified placement agency, right? MBA is a place where you can learn things, and definitely you would reap the fruit in the coming years. Okay, but when is the question, right? If you are going to be a very smart chap, you would reap back all the benefits in 2-3 years. If you are going to take little more time than the regular one, then you would catch up at some point of time little later, maybe after a decade or so. But then you would certainly get to the level which you deserve. So don't look at MBA or the institution, any institution you join, as a placement agency. It is not that. Sitting inside a class for 2 years and getting a placement at the end of it is not the motto of it. The motto is to learn more, because you are paying. I know that most of the programs are very high in terms of the fees and all that. If you are going to pay the fee, you should extract the maximum. I call it as ROI. The ROI, generally the students say the CTC as their ROI for the fee they paid. It is not the CTC, it is the knowledge. So how much ever you're going to extract from the faculty member for the every penny of the fee you paid to the institution, that is going to be the ROI for you, I would say, right? So try to get the maximum out of it, and of course, enjoy your life. Okay, all the very best. And I should also take the opportunity to thank Mr. Anshul for inviting me for this talk. I really enjoyed, and the questions are really good. In fact, it wasn't like a regular interview. You asked a lot of different questions, which I really liked. Thank you so much, Mr. Anshul, and also the team.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for a great discussion, Professor Satya. And I really enjoyed this discussion today. A very, very big thank you to you for taking your time today and speaking to us. I'm sure this discussion would really benefit thousands of aspirants in the coming time. Thank you so
I'll
much.
be happy. Thank you. Thanks a lot.